Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. You can hear me? Please put the letter Y in the question box or in the chat box. I think, what the- okay, I'm thinking you can hear me now. Okay, so sorry about the technical difficulties at 8:15. So hopefully this is going to go a little better. I think you can hear me now. So if you're here on YouTube and you can hear me, I can see your comments on YouTube. And I think that we are now present. All right, very good. Thank you, Ty. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I did not press go live on the YouTube side, and too many moving parts. So let me take a step back and start at the beginning. And so this really, the genesis of this really came from a question from one of our ultimate insiders. And I had been wanting to redo Extreme Business Makeover as I did in 2017, but I did want to do it differently in a way that I felt like was going to be more helpful to people. 2017, I basically just really taught what I felt were the uh, I think the cornerstones of trying to do business online. These are things that a lot of people who were attending, they already knew. But what I was trying to do was to make sure, that we started from the beginning and went in an order. Not only have things changed since 2017, but most of the people that are sort of in our orbit, Laurel and I, you're more mature in terms of what you understand. And so going back over the basics, I don't think will necessarily be helpful. And I'm not even sure it'll be helpful for newbies anyway, because really what has to happen, and I'll get into this tonight, is not necessarily basic anymore. It's just kind of what has to happen. And here's what TB's question was. He was saying that he's got all the stuff, and but what he's not been able to find is something that kind of put together the basics of getting you to the point of asking for the sale. And so if that's sort of how you feel about this, you're not alone, because I think that's going to be kind of typical. And the other thing about this and is kind of what I discovered when I wanted to take Extreme 1.0 and I wanted to turn it into a local training, not necessarily to do the kind of consulting that offline consultants do. I wanted to teach this locally for a meetup. And so part of my dilemma has been I've got to recreate everything from scratch, because I started looking at stuff like Extreme. And what I found was that it was based on the make money online market. And I know for a fact that not everybody wants to either take their new customers there to Warrior Plus and JVZoo. Not there's anything wrong with it, but not a lot of people even know about it. And I think you all know, if you're probably watching me now, is it can be a bit of the wild, wild west. And to introduce somebody to that universe when they first get started, sometimes a little jarring. Second of all, I think the whole world of it is that basically, it is a promote me, I promote you sort of market, and you've basically got to build up an affiliate base to get that affiliate to promote for you, and then you've got to promote for them, and it can be a little, I think, a little disorienting if you're going to introduce people that you introduce to online marketing to that world, right? And I understand what that means. And that's not necessarily what everybody wants to do. And that's just what I was finding when I took the old Extreme 1.0 and I wanted to bring it into my local market and just start teaching people about internet marketing. It didn't fit. And I had to redo it all anyway. And so the other part to this is that in the JVZoo Warrior Plus world, again, not there's anything wrong with it, but that you may not necessarily want to not only sell to other online marketers who want to make more money online, you may not want to introduce your customers to that market. And so the question with Extreme was, when I looked at it to use it for myself, to reuse the same content that I used to teach, what if your market is different? And I think that that's the dilemma that a lot of people who are more mature in internet marketing uh, probably like the people who are going to be attending and watching this replay, you're probably a little more mature. You don't need to be taught the basics. At the same time, though, what if your market is different? And that's what I think people are running into. The other thing is, what if your market is broader than make money online? It's still within business, so you're not necessarily selling to people that you want to do personal development, right? You may not want to teach people, how to live a better life. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That just may not be what you want to teach. That may not be where you want to take people. And certainly, there are more than enough people in that space. A lot of the people who come, through the PLR show, Ultimate Insider, they already know business. So they either understand business or they understand online marketing, they understand these things in general. Their market is a little broader than the make money online market, but it's not broad enough that it spreads out into, health, and it spreads out into, general sort of advice, sort of platitudes kind of thing. Again, not there's anything wrong with those things, but you just may not want to be there. I don't necessarily want to be there. That's why I'm not there. And so what if your market is not the small business consulting SEO customer, even if you don't want to be local? Right? I want it to be local, but I don't want to do small business consulting. I don't necessarily want to be in that world where I'm looking at small middle market business, mom and pop businesses. Again, there's nothing wrong with that market, right? Nothing wrong with that market, but you just may not want to be there. And this is what I'm finding with not only the people who are involved, who are in Xtreme business, who are ultimate insiders, but also for people who are in the PLR show community. You might want to work with people in your local area. You don't necessarily want to be doing SEO or small business consulting. And so there's a broader market of people without getting too broad, right? There is a small business niche, right, of people who want to learn how to sell things and how to market online. Some of those people are totally new, right? And if you've probably already talked to those people. How many of you, let's say somebody asks you what it is you do, and you start kind of talking about some of it is things that you know and some of it is you do, they understand and they're sort of interested, right? And they want to know what it is you know. They may not want to get into, as I said, JVZoo Warrior Plus, but they're interested and you want to be able to teach them, right? Some of the people that you're going to run into as an online marketer in particular, you're going to run into a lot of network marketing refugees. Right? How many of you all have run into network marketing refugees? I know there are a lot of people who they get into network marketing. They even learn that you've got to generate your own leads, but then they don't necessarily want to do the whole recruiting of people thing. And they may not necessarily be those kinds of people, right? That may not be who you are. That may not be who the kind of person that you attract, right? That may not be who they are. Again, I have nothing against doing network marketing. I'm all for it. That's how I got my start. I just was no good at that part of it, right? And even when I understood how to do that part, I wasn't feeling it, right? I wasn't feeling it. I'm a geek by nature, so I just did not get that part, even though I understood what to do. You're going to run into a lot of people who are like me. You're going to run into a lot of people who are like that, but who still want to do business online. And they understand that you're showing them how to do a business opportunity. They just don't want to do network marketing. And they think immediately when you start talking about home business, they think you're talking about network marketing. And you say, no, I'm not, but really you are. You just don't want to take them down that path, right? And so they're going to be small business owners who need to expand their revenue base, right? And I want you to think about this, right? There are a lot of small business owners right now. And see, I understood this before the pandemic. They need to understand, they need to be able to do what you know how to do. And they're feeling it right now because they didn't do it before this, right? Because they understood, and maybe they were doing SEO and maybe they were doing social media, but everything that they have to sell right at the moment, they may not be able to get it into the hands of the people who will really buy it. Because basically, if you're trying to do SEO against Amazon and all these other big companies right at the moment, The only people that are going to be making it during the pandemic are the people who show up in search right now, or people who show up in voice search. And if you have not done, as a small business, right, a small mom and pop business, Main Street business, if you haven't done anything up until this point, it's really hard right now because you're in competition with all the big businesses that are in the first 10 spots in Google. Right, that's exactly what's happening. And so, but you can still help those people with what you know. So let's go deeper. um there are also people who just know they want to start an online business because they know they got to, right? But they don't want to teach people, other people, how to make money, how to make more money, right? They don't want to do that. So for you to show them how to teach other people to make more money, that's not, they're not comfortable with that. So there's a broader market than just the JVZoo Warrior Plus world. Again, it's a great marketplace. You just may not necessarily want to take your customers there, right? And I understand that in talking to people and doing the onboarding call, there are people who don't want to do that. And what I will tell you is that there is a big enough market of people who want to who want to learn online marketing, but who don't want to do all the other stuff, right, that we've been talking about. And what they're looking for, and I think you understand this, is that there is a big enough market of people and they're looking for teachers to trust, right? That's what they want. They want somebody who they can relate to, who they can trust, right? So when I say that there's a broad enough market of people, if you look at your bookshelf right now, you might have at least 4 to 5 books on the same subject, right? And if you think about it, let's just take the subject of copywriting, right? You may own 2 or 3 copywriting books when there are a gazillion different people who've written things on copywriting, produced products on them, but you may have bought 3 of them. So you bought a diverse number of books, which means that you are willing to buy more than one. And at the same time, there are a lot of people that you didn't buy them from because maybe they were at a different price level. Maybe you didn't like the way they said it. Maybe they didn't resonate with you. I'll give you an example. I've been wanting to learn YouTube ads. And so, people introduced me to 3 different people, right? And so one guy sent me his course. I'm on his list because I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I better go ahead and get all this stuff. I was thinking about getting it New Year's, and then I went inside of his course and watched one of his free courses, and I figured, oh, you know what, I don't really, I didn't dislike the fellow. He just did not resonate with me. And so I was able to eliminate him as someone that I was going to spend money with, not because he's a bad person. He just didn't connect with me. Right. And so I know that there are at least 3 other courses on YouTube ads, but I'm probably only going to buy one of them because that person resonates with me, even though there are 3 more out there. But each one of those people who sell YouTube ads courses, they're prolific in the number of people who buy their courses. In other words, there's a big enough market out there. And so there are going to be people who like the way you say it. They're going to be people who like you because, you are a 50-year-old woman. They're going to be people who like you because you used to work in a corporate environment and they understand you. You talk their language, right? So there's a big enough market where if you can be a teacher that people can trust, people will buy from you. And that's really what's more important than the technical part, right? I spent a lot of time in Xtreme 1.0 teaching the technical part, all of which is necessary. But really, what's really going to have to happen is, people will buy from you if you become the teacher that they can trust. And unfortunately, that takes time to know how to do. Nobody's going to tell you that, right? Nobody's going to say that to you. I'm not saying I'm the only one that can say it. You've probably heard it before. I'm just going to tell you the truth. It takes time before you can be a teacher that somebody can trust. And there's no other way to do it than organically. There's no other way to do it than to get out there and start doing it. But there are some steps that you've got to take. And we're going to talk about that in Xtreme 1.0. So now I still want to build my case about this. I did something called Prague Snowball's formula in Xtreme 1.0. And the concept is technically correct, right? It was saying basically you want to launch small, you want to keep launching, and you want to build your product base while you do it. But the problem with that content was I taught it about JVZoo and Warrior Plus. And so even if you bought the PLR rights to that course and you were to go teach it, you would have had to change everything from, and you would have had to edit out everything I did on JVZoo Warrior Plus because that's not your market. And that was the problem that I was having. So I said, well, well, man, if I taught this in my local area, I don't even know if I want to bring those people to that network. So I have to redo all this stuff anyway, right? And so while you should do product snowball formula, right? If you're building an audience, you should do that. You just don't necessarily have to do it for that market. First, if you are using that PLR, and this is the issue with Xtreme 1.0, and I'm going to move on from this in a minute. If you're using that PLR, you may be talking to people who don't care about the make money online market, right? That may not be people who vibe with you. They don't care about teaching other people to make money online. They're just trying to learn so they can learn how to sell to the market they want to sell to. You may have people in your universe that want to sell crafts. You may have people who want to learn how to sell on Etsy. You may have FBA people who don't know how to build a list. It is amazing. And I'm just going to say this as an aside. Um, it's amazing the number of people that get started in FBA that don't build a list, right? It floors me. All the stuff you and I know already, because I don't care how much you're selling, right? People are talking about how much money they're making, but they don't build a list, right? And so if they're not building a list, they don't have a business. Amazon can decide tomorrow, and you'd be surprised. I'm in all these forums. You're probably in them too. These FBA forums, and Amazon comes in and they say, you know what? We don't like the way you're selling it. We're shutting this category down for you. And they're saying, well, you can't do that. That's my entire business. But they don't have a list, right? Again, all the stuff you and I know and that you and I can teach people, people don't do those things. So my point by telling you all that is this, that you will probably deal with people in lots of different genres who want to sell, some who want to sell to consumers, some who want to sell to different businesses, but they don't want to sell to other marketers, right? And so you may not need to have the content for that, and you may not want to learn it for that reason. Um, and so I've been doing onboarding calls with Ultimate Insiders, and one of the things that I've been learning is that there are a lot of people who are outside the make money online market, right? Your interests and your desires and the pull toward people is not in that market, right? A lot of people. And you want to but you still want to reach other business people and other people who want to sell. And you have probably found, now that there's a pandemic, I just read in the Wall Street Journal now, and a very interesting article that they were talking about Shopify. That a lot of people are now interested, right? They're interested in learning how to do something to generate an income, right? And that's probably no secret to you. So there are people who want to start an online business. They just don't know what to do. They don't necessarily, though, want to sell to other online marketers. That's the point, right? Somebody who just, who was, a software engineer, and now they're not, and they don't know if they got maybe a kid at home they got to take care of because he's gotta do online school. And they're not even too sure if they want to send that kid back to school anyway, even when school goes back in session. And now they got to figure out, okay, well, if I got to be here with this kid and maybe I might have him do some hybrid school, how am I going to teach him? What am I going to do for a living? Right? What am I going to do? Right? There are a lot of people who want to do business. They don't necessarily want to teach other online marketers. They want to make a living, but they don't want to sell to other online marketers. So you got a big market of people out there, and they don't want to be on affiliate networks, right? Um, you you have to figure out the other affiliate network. You have to figure out how to get outside the affiliate networks, and that's really what we're going to be doing Xtreme 2.0, right? And so the make money online market, you probably have figured out that it's covered by everybody, right? Everybody's taught you how to take your PLR and sell to other online marketers, right? There are a lot of people, I've done it, right? I've done it. An e-learning playbook, 30-day video reseller challenge, and e-learning, e-training playbook. I did all that, right? I even did it in last year's Xtreme. And again, I'm just finding that not everybody's interested in learning to do that. Um, all three of those things cover those topics pretty well. So if you want to sell to other marketers, if you go through 30-day video reseller challenge, you can use that to sell to other online marketers. I just know that not everybody wants to do that. Um, here's what has to happen at the end of the day, right? And um, it's not an easy thing to say, and it's not an easy thing to hear. You have to have an audience and a list, and there's no substitute for that, right? And the reason I say an audience and a list, because just having a list of people that you can send offers to is not enough. You have to sort of have it so that these people listen to you, because either they trust you or like you. Again, I'm not saying that know you, like you, trust you. I'm just saying you got to build up this organically, um, to that way of getting people who are coming to the stuff you do, right? They're coming to your trainings, they're coming to your webinars, either because it's in their best interest to do so, or just because they like you. But you got to have an audience and a list. There's no way around that. And the best time to start building an audience and a list is yesterday, right? Next best time is tomorrow, right? So really and truly, I have been talking about this for the last 2.0. And what I have taught over the years is that what you've got to do is you've got to create a workshop and you've got to start teaching. I've probably said that for the last 5 years in one form or another. And what I have been saying about that has not changed. You got to create workshops. You got to do exactly what I'm doing right now. You have to start teaching, and you've got to give your teaching away. Sometimes you're going to give your best teaching away. And again, I've heard that don't give away your best stuff. You got to sell some things. Really, and quite frankly, I gave away just about everything at the beginning, right? I don't give away everything now, but it's now 2021. But in 2013, I gave away everything on workshops, everything from 2000. I'd say from 2012 up until 2015, I gave away absolutely everything. I'm just telling you, right? And I'm being totally honest with you. You have to start teaching. If you're not going to be the kind of person, and I wasn't, right? I wasn't the guy. I was not a prolific sort of super complicated, build these super complicated funnels and I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on ads, because 2012, I even have a lot of money to spend on ads, right? And I wouldn't even spend a lot of money on ads right now, because I understand that the way you build trust, ladies and gentlemen, the way you find the person that's going to trust you is you must start teaching. You got to get out and you got to start teaching. And the way you do that is you establish a weekly training. Uh, I'm just establish a weekly training where you are on every single week. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be, super complicated, but you got to show up and you got to be there. And that's what I have been saying for the last 5 years. Create a workshop and start teaching. And if you start doing that, no, for a while, it's going to be your mom and your dog and maybe your spouse, right? They'll come. And maybe not in that order. They will come, and that will be all that's going to be coming for a while. But you got to start doing that. At each workshop, right? You get in the habit of pre-selling your offers. Really, all you're doing on these workshops is you are training yourself to pre-sell your offers. What you're doing is you are constructing workshops to figure out the needs of people so that you can pre-sell the offers that you have. That's all you're doing. You are teaching people how to be a good customer. That's what you're doing. You get on a workshop and you teach people how to be your best customer, right? You teach them according to their need, and you tell them how to solve their need is to buy what you have. That's what you're doing. Um, You ask people on those workshops to become part of your list. A lot of people are going to become part of your list after you've taught them. And so when you start talking about, well, how do I get people to become part of my list? Yeah, some people are going to join because you had the great copy on your opt-in page. Most people that are going to stick with you are going to become part of your list because they heard or bought something that you have and they trust you, right? And if you teach people genuinely and you show them something good and you're there all the time, people are going to become part of your list and you're not going to have great copy. Probably the best, as I understand it, if you go to Eben Pagan, if you go to something called W Your Dating, the copy is not, excuse me, all that super stellar. But buried in one of his trainings a long time ago, Eben Pagan said that basically all he really did was he established a trust and he sort of understood what people wanted and he asked them to join their list. Right. That's really what he did. Now, later on, he started selling $2,000 courses and he started telling people like really complicated things. But if you go back and you listen to the old Eben Pagan, he basically said that what he was doing was establishing a relationship with people and then asking them to become part of their list. And what's the implied promise? The implied promise is that if you join my list, you'll get to hear about my next training next week. That's all. And so you don't have to make a bit. You don't have to tell people they're going to get rich. And how many of you are uncomfortable with that? Right? I'd be willing to bet you that if you're on this call, you're probably uncomfortable telling people, hey, if you just join my list, you're going to get rich. I never wanted to do that. Right. And so I had to figure out a way around that. And if that's you too, the way around doing that is showing up every week. You may not be very religious, but it's like having your own church, right? You're showing up every week and you're going to be there every week to train them and show them something different. Um, you make offers at every workshop. Every offer, you just get in the habit of telling people, giving people a call to action to buy something at the end. Every offer, every workshop, right? This is what you're going to do. Every single workshop, you ask them to join your list, you ask them and you give them an offer to buy, right? Every time you train, you upsell them into a continuity offer. And what's the continuity offer? In other words, if they buy your front end offer, let's say they buy one of your courses, the continuity offer is a very simple proposition, more of the same, right? Now you can get as complicated as you want. You can have double funnels and upsells and downsells. Again, I don't have any problem with those things. I'm saying that if you want to get started making offers from a workshop, you show them a front end offer based on what you trained on. And then the upsell to that is, hey, do you want more of this? Get all of my courses on a monthly basis if you pay monthly, right? That's the offer. It's simple, right? And again, I'm pretty sure that you can find things that are more complicated, but I'm saying that if you will get started doing what I'm telling you to do right now, you will then start looking for things that are more complicated because those more complicated things will make you more money, right? You will do those things. I think you should do those things. The most important thing in this is the workshops. It is. It's to do them. Start doing them. Um, um, Now, here's the good thing about doing workshops. When you do them on a weekly basis, you don't have to start thinking about creating content. You already have content, right? That's your content. Because if you go through the trouble of creating a workshop and you deliver it, you don't have to have stuff for a YouTube channel. You already got it. You don't really even need stuff for a podcast. All you're going to do is cut that up and put that on your podcast, throw it up in Anchor, and let Anchor put on you on iTunes. You don't need anything right now, right? If I wanted to have a podcast, right, what I'm doing with you right now, technically, I don't need. It's what I'm teaching you is not. I'm not doing on-screen training, right? I can take this and I can put this in Anchor.com and I can put this into my podcast, right? I could do that. I could break this up into 5 podcast episodes. My point is telling you this, that if you do a workshop once a week, what I am doing with you right at the moment, you will have content for anything you want to do. You want content to share on social media, you have it. You do a workshop. You want content to put on your video channel, you now have it, right? I have it. You want content to put in the audio in your podcast and anchor.fm or whatever you're doing for your podcast, you now have it, right? All you're doing is you are teaching people on a monthly basis. Now, and the second thing, most important thing is you develop your email list, right? That's the second most important thing. You ask people to join your email list and you start writing them every day. And what I have asked people to do who are ultimate insiders, and I've asked people over the years of my training, is that if you haven't started writing your list, it doesn't matter how big or small it is. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a list, right? Start writing that list every day, right? Let's say that you have not been writing your list. I know for a fact. I don't know how many of you all are watching you, and I don't need you to tell me or volunteer the information. Um, I'd be willing to bet that approximately half of you do not write your list. You probably have about 500 to 1,000 names, or maybe even some of you all have 2, 3, 4,000 people. Could be, but you don't write them every day. I'm almost be willing to bet you. Please don't tell them yourself, but I'm betting that because I've talked to you, right? And I know because that's what I did, right, for a long time. And it wasn't because I was scared or anything like that. It's just because I didn't do it. You got to start writing that list every day. And are people going to unsubscribe? Yes, they're going to run off your list if you start writing them, if you haven't been writing because they're not used to that. And if you're waiting for the right day, but when you have something awesome and you wait till you have something valuable, you're only going to talk to them when they have valuable things today. You know who they're buying from? They're buying they're buying from the person who is telling them they're going to get rich tomorrow, right? They're buying from that person. They're listening to that person because that's the only person talking to them. Until you start being the person, the reasonable person who's going to teach them the right way, they are going to buy from people who will not treat them right, who will sell them to any and everybody who's coming off JV Zoo with a hot product, right? If you will not talk to them and if you will not teach them, right? Okay, so here's what Extreme Business Makeover 2.0. I'm going to do a live workshop, and everybody, regardless of whether or not your affiliation with me, I'll invite you. I'll make sure you get the link. Now, basically, what I'm doing is the people that I am teaching are going to be in my local meetup. And I will give you the link to those, right? I'm going to start sending out in the evenings, right? So I'm not gonna put it in my morning newsletter. In the evenings, I will tell you where these things are happening. If you want to come, you can come. Um, and so if in terms of what I'm doing, I haven't decided where that conversation is going to be. Right? I'll either do that inside the PLR Academy, Facebook group, or YouTube. I haven't decided yet, but I will talk about what we're doing and the how. Right? But that's not even the most important part of Extreme 2.0. Um, I'm going to make this a paid offer, obviously. And so Extreme 2.0, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the materials that I use to create the workshop. So in other words, I will take away from you the need to create workshop materials. All you're going to need to do is to tweak it for your market and for what it is you're doing, right? And so again, um, what I have found is that when I hit, and there are people that have done personal coaching with me, who are insiders, and so we have talked about wanting to do the workshop, and they will come to the point where they know they need to do it and they want to do it. But then I think that the block sometimes is, well, I don't really know how to write a workshop. Right now, basically what that's going to be is every time I do one, you'll get the slide presentation I use, machine transcription, and the videos. Right, I will give all that to you. So look, so when I did Extreme in 2017, I sold it at $9.95. It was probably just a not too bright. um, I did it for 52 weeks. The course stayed at $9.95. What I'm going to do this time is that every time I add stuff to it, the price is going to go up. Right. So you get in early. Um, you'll get everything still for $9.95. But then every time, every week you wait that I do a training and I add to it, the price is going to go up. Um, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you're not going to pay for it at all anyway, right? So regardless, even as the price goes up, even as the training materials accumulate, the price is going to go up for everybody else. If you're an Ultimate Insider, you'll get it, right? And there's also going to be stuff that I'll do for Ultimate Insiders that I will have discussion about what I'm doing on the monthly meetings, right? And what's working. So I don't have time to explain to the entire group as to, hey, did this sell? Did that offer sell? I will do that in the Ultimate Insider meetings for people who ask me that question, right? So say, yeah, I was on your training. I saw the training you did on, Clubhouse. How many copies did that sell? Were people interested? I'll do that on the monthly insider calls. I'm happy to do that. I'm also happy to do that with insiders who write me in support. So again, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you want to figure out what's working. I'm happy to do that. But for most people, that's sort of not even the issue. For most people, getting the training materials and using them to go out, you will have no reason not to do a weekly training then. Because basically those trainings are going to be designed for you to sell the offers you have, right? So I'm not going to do training to just teach for my health. I'm going to teach in order to sell things. And I will give you those training materials in Xtreme 2.0. That's going to be the difference between Xtreme 2.0 and Xtreme 1.0. So that's what we're doing this time. And so here's what that's going to do for you. It's going to put you in a position to start doing your own training. I have asked and asked and asked and begged and begged and begged and pleaded and pleaded and pleaded for people to start doing their own training, right? But I recognize that writing up a training every week is not everybody's cup of tea. I'm going to do that for you, and I'm going to give you mine. So you're going to be able to adapt my training to do yours, right? You're going to get the rights to do your own. And basically, you're going to be pre-selling your PLR offers. That's what I'm going to be doing. Now, you're going to change it based on your niche, but you're going to be pre-selling your PLR offers. You're going to be able to use the training that you do to build your audience. Because if you want to build an audience, you have to start saying to people, come to John Walker's Wednesday 8 p.m. training. That's it, right? And other people will start telling people that John Walker does an 8 p.m. training. It's awesome. John Walker's an honest person. He does a training every Wednesday, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. You ought to go. Oh, I know about John Walker's training. He talked about that. He actually talked about how you put up an opt-in page. He does this every Wednesday night. Here's a Facebook page. And the only way to do that is you have to establish that. Right? It has to be, and there's no way around being that person. I'm not saying that you have to be, you don't have to be Russell Brunson, but you want to know something? I'll tell you this. Russell Brunson trains 2 to 3 times a week, right? I'm not sure if it's all free, but he does it. And so I'm not saying that he's the end all be all. I'm saying that this dude's now a gazillionaire, and he's not above having to teach every week, right? Twice a week. And so if it'll work and if it's good enough for him, I think it's good enough for us, right? And so you will be able to use my training, do your own training, adapt it to what you're doing. You can take that same content and put it on your YouTube channel. For some of you all who are looking to build a YouTube channel and you don't know what to talk about, but you want to be able to talk through some stuff, you'll be able to take this stuff, and build your own YouTube channel. I don't want to devalue the PLR videos by giving people the rights to put it on their YouTube channel. I do not want to do that. But I do want people to do their own YouTube channel. And so that's what this content is going to be for, right? So if you get Xtreme Business Makeover, you will have content that you will be able to take and use. You'll have the You'll have the machine transcription. You'll have the PowerPoint, and you'll be able to watch the video, and you'll be able to adapt it to how you want to teach it and put it on your YouTube channel, right? And you're going to be able to pre-sell your rebranded PLR offers. That's the goal, right? So you're gonna be able to pre-sell, like you've got Clubhouse right now, right? I have no idea how I'm going to pre-sell that, but I'm going to write a training for Clubhouse, and all it's going to be designed to do is to get people warmed up for the offer I'm going to make, right? That's all you've got to do. Put your Clubhouse in whatever that, and listen, it doesn't matter where you put it. Be honest. You want to put it in Academy Pro. You want to put it on your HTML page. You want to put it. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if you put it in Teachable. You put it where you feel comfortable with it and where you feel good about selling it. That's where you put it. The most important thing is the workshop. It's not where you put the offer, really and truly. Because quite honestly, I have bought things that people have sold on webinars where they just send you what? And you've probably bought things too. They send you direct from the webinar to the checkout page, right? You don't even have to, in some cases, if you do a weekly training and you are building trust, you can send people after you have pre-sold them and you've told them what's in the offer and you've told them how they're going to benefit and you've told them in your style, and you can send them direct to the checkout page. In fact, I'm going to say to you that in some cases you don't need to send people to a sales page once you've done a workshop, because you have already pre-sold them. If you send them to a sales page, you can sometimes talk somebody out of a sale, right? You can talk people out of the sale you just made by building up the trust you did on the workshop. You can send people direct to your checkout page, direct to your PayPal, direct to your Stripe, as opposed to sending people to a sales page. I know, again, you might think that I got to have a sales page. It's got to be awesome. No, you don't, right? Jeff Walker used to call Product Launch Formula a sideways sales page. Russell Brunson calls Perfect Webinar a 1-hour sales page. What I'm telling you is that a pre-sale webinar, a pre-sale workshop is a trust building sales page, right? You are building trust. You're saying it's not a hard sell. It's not a hard sell. So you don't have to say, oh, you don't get all these, you're going to get all these bonuses. I mean, you don't have to do all that stuff. You pre-sell them, because your goal for a weekly training is to get people to come back the next week. And eventually, you're going to start building an audience and a list based on providing that level of value once a week. It doesn't have to be long. You don't need to do an hours-long training every week, unless you want to. Now, I'll tell you now, 2012, 2013, probably even 2016, I would go for an hour, right? Every week, twice a week. Again, it doesn't matter to me if you do that. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. I'm just saying that don't feel like you have to do that. You do what makes sense to you. And if you build an audience and a list, then you will then be able to send people to the checkout page of whatever you want to send them to, right? It'll be incidental what you sell to them. And in fact, you're going to start creating your own offers from the PLR. In fact, you will not worry about the sales page. You'll just be sending people to, a member area where you have 2 courses that are going to benefit them, right? 2 related courses. That's what you want to do, right? You'll be able to do whatever you want, because it's going to be the audience and list that you built organically. And that's what we are going to help you to do in Xtreme 2.0, right? Okay, so I'll construct the offer page and start next week. Once again, if you're an Ultimate Insider, don't worry about it. I'll be giving you the materials in the member area. So any questions, either about how Xtreme is going to work or just in general, the workshop, about doing the workshop? Any questions about that? Again, there's no magic to doing a workshop, right? There's no magic. You just have to really start teaching, and your audience will start finding you. You know, yeah, you have to start teaching in your voice, right? And you know, there are a lot of people who bought our PLR when John and I were working together, and they bought the stuff that was redone from Xtreme, and they put it out there in my voice. But that really does not brand you, doesn't build trust from you. If you will just take that same content and reteach it in your own voice, you'll start building trust, and you're going to start adding things that I would never think to add. You're gonna add things to it that you know to tell people that I could never dream of, that'll make all the difference in the world in terms of getting people to make the purchase right from you, right? Okay, so make sure now, if you're not an Ultimate Insider, you can do that at the insiderplurshow.com/insider training. You can sign up there. Once again, now Xtreme 1.0, I've put all the transcripts together, and basically, you know, it's not necessarily related to the PLR offer. I just wanted to get it off of my, just get it out of my system, right? So all I've done is I've got the machine transcripts for Xtreme 1.0. I'm going to give it to you as a bonus for picking up the Facebook ecom. Again, I understand that it's not, you know, related to that, but it'll still help you, right? Um, and yeah, if you now, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you already have PLR free PLR Academy, so you don't need this. If you are not an Ultimate Insider, or you're new to us, you're watching this on YouTube, I have a free PLR Academy. It's in Teachable. It's got 5 courses on how to customize and resell your PLR. Make sure that you get that, and that you go ahead and sign up and get access to our Teachable course. Once again, you're an Ultimate Insider, that's already inside of your Teachable dashboard, right? No, that's right. All right. uh, okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out, and thanks for your patience. I'm sorry for things not lining up here. I think I didn't push the go live area in in YouTube. So with that, thanks very much, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.